Hello friends, welcome to the video about analysis of Worksheet 3. Worksheet 3 is completely based upon your percentage, that is basics of percentage, and this worksheet is based upon your application of percentage chart. Well, percentage chart is an important tool when dealing with chapter on percentages. Percentages include your basic percentages, then profit and loss, then compound interest, simple interest, and then your DI. So it's uh, it's kind of convenient that if you have a strong hold over your percentage chart, means if you learn it by heart, it will become a tool, and it's the best shortcut to deal with questions based upon your percentage topic. Now first of all, you were given 8 minutes to solve the quant section, and how to solve these questions and how to attempt this, we're gonna give you a preview about it. So first question were based upon your conversion from percentages to fraction. So talking about your first question, that is 220%. Now the corresponding fraction, how to form that, the technique to form that fraction will be, you break 220 into nearest 100 and the remaining part, that is 220 can be written as 200 plus 20%. Now this 200 when divided by 100 and this 20% when divided by 100 will give 2 and 1 by 5 respectively. Okay, so we write 2 and 1 by 5 and add these, so the corresponding equivalent percentage will become 11 by 5. Okay, now this conversion of this 20%, it is given in your percentage chart, that is 20% is equivalent to 1 by 5 in fractions, or 1 by 5 in fractions is equivalent to 20%. So this is given in your percentage chart, and this is where that percentage chart comes into play. The knowledge about percentage chart comes into play. So the corresponding fraction for 220% will become 11 by 5 in this manner. Okay, so now we move on to another example, that is your 133.33%. So you break this 133.33 into 100 plus 33.33%. This 100 will give you 1 and this 33.33 will give you 1 by 3, and the corresponding percentage will be your 4 by 3%. Okay, so now we move on to another example, that is 114.2857. The corresponding fraction can be found out by breaking this into 100 plus 14.2857, and after this 100 will give you 1 and 14.2857 has an equivalent fraction of 1 by 7. So the overall equivalent fraction for 114.28% will be 8 by 7. So again, percentage chart is quite handy in solving these questions. Now moving on to the fourth example, that is 411.11%. We break this into 400 plus 11.11, and 400 will give you 4 and this 11.11 is equivalent to 1 by 9, and the overall percentage will be your 37 by 9%. Okay, so we move on to the next set of questions. So the next set of questions is your conversion from fractions into percentage, and again this is majorly based upon your percentage chart. Now we come on to the first example, that is 12 by 5. The equivalent percentage for 12 by 5 will be, uh, you break 12 into 10 plus 2 divided by 5, and you split the denominator, then multiply by 100. So what you'll get is 10 by 5 will become 2, and 2 into 100 will become 200%, and 2 by 5 into 100 will become 40%. So equivalent percentage of 12 by 5 will be 240%. Okay, so we move on to the second example, that is 32 by 3. 32 by 3 can be written as 30 plus 2 whole divided by 3, and when we divide 30 by 3 we get 10, and when we divide 2 by 3 we get 2 by 3, and then we multiply this by 100 to convert it into percentage, and what we'll get is 1000 plus 66.66%, and this will become 1066.66%. So this is how you convert your fraction into corresponding percentages using your percentage chart. So now coming on to the third example, that is 15 by 11. So 15 can be written as 11 plus 4, and we divided by 11. So what we get is 1 plus 4 by 11. Now this 1 on multiplying by 100 will give you 100, and this 4 by 11, it has a corresponding percentage of 36.36%. Okay, so the overall percentage will be 136.36%. And one thing to remember is that there is an important fraction, that is 1 by 11, and 1 by 9 is also important. So 1 by 11 is equal to 9 1 by 11%, and 1 by 9 is equal to 11 by 1 by 9%. So this thing we have told you in our video on percentage basics. You can refer to that. So overall your percentage equivalent percentage for 15 by 11 will be 136.36%. So this whole section of quants could have been easily done in say 6 minutes. Okay, 5 to 6 minutes. This could have been easily done. Means out of 8 minutes, you could have easily saved your 2 minutes attempting all the questions accurately. And one thing to notice that your percentage chart is an important tool whenever you deal with questions based on percentage. So now we move on to the next section, that is your reasoning part. Now in reasoning you were given 15 minutes and you were given two blocks. One was your sitting arrangement and the second one was your input output. Now the sitting arrangement, it was of say moderate type. You were given three set of information, that is one was your friends. You were given seven friends and their profession and their bank, and information was given on that. So so the entire information that is given in these lines, I have written it in my words. That is, these 8 points they are given in this, and now we have to arrange based upon these 8 points the entire data and answer the questions. So I'll be telling you how to arrange these. Means how to arrange using this much information, how to completely arrange the data. So. In the first line you were given that says C works for bank N and is neither a research analyst nor a clerk. So what I have done is C works for bank N and is not a clerk and a research analyst. So I have written it like this, and similarly for the other points. Okay, so after writing this, what I have done is I would start arranging that entire information by this table. So first point was given to you that C works in bank N and is neither a research analyst nor a clerk. So I will mark it here like this. Okay. And the next piece of information given to you is E works for bank R and is an IT officer. Okay, so I will arrange it like this, that E works for bank R and is an IT officer. So I'll write it as like this here. And now it is given that A is a forex officer, but he doesn't work for bank L or Q. So I'll arrange it like this. That is, A is a forex officer but doesn't work for bank L and Q. Okay. So now information 4 and 5 can't be utilized as of now. So we move on to 6th and 7th information. Now 6th information is given that F works for bank Q and G works for bank P as a research analyst. So we arrange the two piece of informations in our table, that is F works for Q and G works for P as a research analyst. Okay. Now there is a set of information which is given here, that is D doesn't work as an agriculturist. Okay, so we arrange that in our table, and so we make use of that information and arrange it in our table, that is D can't work as an agriculturist. Okay, so we mark in front of D as he can't work as an agriculturist. Now there is a information given that a person who works in bank M, he is not an agriculturist. Okay, so if D can't come here, oh sorry, agriculturist can't be D, so M can't come here. Now, A is a forex officer, so M also can't be written in front of A. So what we do is, since M can't be written in front of D and A, there is only one place left, that is B. So B works for bank M and is an agriculturist. Okay, so this is how you make use of your information and arrange your data in this given table. So making use of this information, we complete the data, that is D works for bank L and is a technical officer. Then C is an economist, and say your this F is a clerk, and A works for bank S. So this is your entire table, and you can answer these questions followed for this para or for this block accordingly. Okay, so now we move on to the next part, that is your input output section. So all the input output questions that you encounter in your exams all are similar questions. Means you are given an input, there is a machine that processes this input, and you are given following steps, and you have to deduce what kind of logic is followed by the machine to arrange that input. So these are very easy questions, means there are no changes. The only thing say difficult is to find the logic, and once you find out the logic, and the questions are very, I mean, they are easy to answer, not very easy, but they are easy to answer because certain questions are lengthy. So again, what we're gonna discuss is how to answer this question quickly, or how to write this question, or means what's a better way to attempt this question. So suppose you are given this input, means I'm illustrating the example given to you in the question. So you were given this input: joy for far 35, 27, 16, 96, height and star. And the first step was this 96 comes in front, and rest of the input remains the same. So what I do is, since 96 is written forward, so I cut it here in the input line. And the second step is that 96, after 96 what comes is far. So what I do is, far, I write F for this far, and I cut it here. So this line determines that now you have joy 35, 27, 16, height and star in the sequence that you want to arrange. 96 and F are already arranged, the remaining sequence is this, which is predicted by this line. No need to write that sequence. So after that 96 F, what arranges is this 35. Okay, so I cut 35 here and write the remaining sequence. After 35, what gets arranged is your H. Okay, so 96 F, 35 H, and remaining sequence remains same, so I cut height here, and I write the remaining sequence. So what you are left with is joy 27, 16 and star. Till now, since you have written four steps, you are able to identify that what is going on is, first numeral is arranged, then alphabet is arranged, or a word is arranged. And numerals, they are arranged in decreasing order, and alphabets, they are increased in your they are arranged in increasing order, means F, G, H in this form, and 96, 35, 27, so on. So after H, you are getting is joy. Okay, so for that you have to write, means after H there should be a numeral, and the numeral should be 27. So you write that step, that is 96 F, 35 H, and 27, and you cut this 27 here, and what you are left with is joy and 16, which is itself arranged. So at the end, what you get is this arranged a sequence, that is 96F35 in 5 steps. So again, you can predict this sequence by writing it, means just by observing the example given you in the question. But what I'm telling you is how to write this sequence effectively and in a faster way, so that there is no margin for error while attempting the questions from your given block. Your reasoning section, well, reasoning section consisted of your say 12 questions. Okay, so you were given 12 questions in reasoning, and the minutes allotted to you were 15 minutes. Now 15 minutes is enough for such kind of information, because your input output consumes a lot of time. Okay, so even if you were able to do your sitting arrangement in say near about say 7 to 8 minutes, this input output part, especially the questions part, would have taken time. Okay, so what I would do is suggest is that reasoning section would have been attempted in say 14 minutes or even in 15 minutes. That would have been a good attempt, and in these 15 minutes 12 or 10 out of 12 questions would have been correct. Okay, so again you saved your 2 minutes in the quant section, so you can utilize those 2 minutes in this. So overall what I would say is both reasoning and quants, they could have been done in say your 23 minutes. Okay, means you were given 23 minutes, so in 23 minutes you could have easily done near about say 12 questions from your that first part of quants, then 12 questions from second part, and then 10 questions from this part. So overall I could say that 90% attempt would have been very easy in this section. So now we come into the English section. Now in English you were given five words, that is ophthalmologist, obstetrician, pediatrician, gynecologist and orthopedist. So you have to find the meanings. Now ophthalmologist is a doctor who treats the eye related diseases. Okay, ophthalmologist is a doctor who treats the eyes. Okay, and basically he's a pure doctor. He's not an optician. Optician is something different, and ophthalmologist is basically a doctor, and optician is not a doctor. Just keep this thing in mind. Now what is obstetrician? Well, obstetrician is the doctor who specializes in children birth or childbirth. Okay, so obstetrician is a doctor specializing in childbirth. Now who is pediatrician? Well, pediatrician is a child specialist. Okay, pediatrician is a doctor who treats the child after he or she is born. Okay, and obstetrician who specializes in childbirth. So both are two different doctors. Just keep that thing in mind. Now, who is gynecologist? Well, gynecologist is a female reproductive, means a doctor who specializes in female reproductive system. Okay, so again a gynecologist is again a different type of doctor. So why I have considered these three doctors, because again there is a minor distinction between these three types of doctors, so just keep that thing in mind. Now who is orthopedist? Well, orthopedist is a doctor who specializes in bones. Okay, so just remember the meaning of these five words, and now we move on to the difference between rob and steal. Well, rob is when you say my house was robbed, and when you steal, when you say my table, jewelry, and TV they were stolen. Okay, so that's when we use steal. Okay, so the difference between rob and steal is uh, you rob a place and you steal the things. Okay, so that's the, so you can say is rob is chori karna. Okay, and steal is जब कोई चीज चुराते हैं, ठीक है, that is steal. So rob is चोरी करना and steal is चुराना. So this is the difference between these two words, that is rob and steal. So that's it for our analysis of the worksheet 3, and you can easily say that in worksheet 3 out of your 24 plus 12 36 questions, you could have easily done near about 30 to 34 questions and all would have been correct. And again it was a worksheet in which you were given one question per minute. Okay, so again just learn that your percentage chart is important, and arranging and practicing as many as your sitting arrangements will help you in improving your reasoning. Okay, so best of luck with your preparation, and keep coming back to Prof Bank you. Thank you.